Hi, good morning. My name is Jason Wampler. This is another episode of Dime Store Psychology. It's now 10:14 a.m. Excuse me. Just clearing that out of my system. And what did we want to talk about today? Well, what I told you we'd talk about yesterday. Abnormal human psychology. Let me tell you my story, of course, recap. 25 years since between the ages of 20 and 25, I was wrestling with bipolar disorder, which led to mania, depression, anxiety, um, and what else? Well, that's pretty much it. But I have a double dose of bipolar disorder that I've inherited from both my parents, which makes me unusual. Anyway, that's pretty much about it. It took 25 years to get around the right combination of medications. Let me tell you about psychiatrists that prescribe medication. If you get assessed by a psychiatrist and they prescribe medication, you also kind of need to see a therapist to talk to them, talk out your thoughts and feelings. The therapist's job is to make sure that the medication doesn't have any abnormal side effects on you as regards to your thinking, your outlook, and your behavior towards others. And from time to time, they're going to give you questionnaires to assess your mental wellness and your sleep hygiene and where you live and your circumstances and such and so forth. Here's the thing. When you're dealing with somebody who is mentally disabled, you have to be careful. In the sense that you have to be understanding, but you have to recognize right off the bat that yes, they are mentally disabled, and then draw them out with a series of questions without being too personal or too invasive, or definitely don't show them in disrespect. My friend Rita Yates and I, we're we're brother and sister in arms with regards to our mental disabilities. Rita Yates is a highly intelligent, sensitive, capable, beautiful woman, but she has I believe bipolar disorder as well. But I can't be sure. My dad is incredibly intelligent, Clinton Samuel Armstrong. He has bipolar disorder, but the angry kind of bipolar disorder. And he's been wrestling with that, but he's normal. But if you talk to him, he's literally 3 or 4 times more intelligent than I am. And I don't know how he does it. I hope to have gotten that, and he's a good man. So I shout out to him. I love you very much, Dad. But here's the thing again too. When you're dealing with somebody who has a mental disability, you don't realize they have a mental disorder that they're taking corrective medication for. It will bowl you over. It'll take you by surprise, and you'll be scratching your head wondering, what's wrong with these people, and you'll be saying, well, you're not acting normal. Why start acting normal? And you'll start talking to them that way, and it'll make a bad situation worse. So stand back. Ask them a series of questions. Don't be too personal and invasive, because they don't need to tell you about their condition. They need your respect, and they need their human dignity, which is something you have to give every single human being on this planet, whether you like it or not. If you can't deal with other human beings in a respectful manner that affords them their dignity, well, then you are doing something wrong, not them. And just because they don't think very much of themselves, or think they're inferior to you, or they think you're superior to them, doesn't give you the right to talk down to them. Full-grown adults do not like to be talked down to, whether they're 20 or they're 50. Don't talk down to another human being like you need to correct their thinking, and they need to think and do what you say. They're not your slaves, they're fellow human beings. So don't do that. So stand back, be very respectful, be polite, be patient, because they're going to act in very odd, strange manners. Possibly you've never seen this type of behavior before. Guess what, folks? You're going to have to toughen up, because probably right now between 20 to 40% of the world's population has some form of mental disorder. I can't be for sure, but it's on the rise. Mental disorders, let's say for right now, a conservative 18 to 20%. Let's dial it back to that. 18 to 20% of the world's population is suffering some type of mental disorder, whether it's anger issues, depression, anxiety, feelings of worthlessness, things like that. And the thing is, and again, I'm almost inclined to believe that nearly 30% of the world's population does abuse alcohol. They're 30% of this world's population has an alcohol dependency, and that makes a bad thing worse on top of worse. My advice to anybody who's watching this little epithet, or little, what do I call it, little teeny micro program, guess what? If you have signs of mental disorder, do 3 things. seek the help of a psychiatrist and get assessed, get on your medication, be vigilant and disciplined about your medication, get your sleep, get your rest, try to develop a healthy lifestyle. And number 2, see a therapist. And number 3, do not consume alcohol or drugs of any type. You're making a bad thing worse. You're literally dumping gasoline on fire. I don't mean to be on my soapbox, but I can say that with authority. I'm a recovered alcoholic, almost 35 years clean and sober. I discovered I was an alcoholic when I was 16 years old because of my attitude. If I was going to drink, I had to get drunk. So I wasn't happy with that. So at 16, I turned on a dime, dropped the girlfriend, dropped the drugs, dropped the alcohol. I still screwed my nervous system up with bad mushrooms, but I'm not sure I want to expound on that too much. Anyway, so, and again, another parting comment, the world needs more brotherly love. In fact, brotherly love, consideration, respect, and understanding would solve a lot of this world's problems. However, humanity is facing a tremendous amount of problems that may or not necessarily be their fault. I do believe there are forces that are being brought to bear that we may or may not have any control over. The simple fact that we've gone, that men and women have been on this planet for so long, things have just become fragmented. The family life has broken down. There is no traditional family life for anybody. I'm talking to 50 and 6-year-olds that exhibit the behavior of a dysfunctional 14-year-old. It's really sad. I've had a lot to overcome in my past too. I started raising myself when I was 7 years old because nobody stepped up to the plate. My father was in the picture. My grandfather was a chronic alcoholic. My grandmother did some things to teach me about values and virtue. My mother was in and out of sanitariums, so she was a no-go. So I was left. I was a keystone or a doorstep kid, or not a doorstep, a door lock kid. And I pretty much on my own homework, cooked my meals, did the laundry, cleaned up the room. If I wanted toys, guess what? I had to work a paper route, save up the money, and I had to buy them. So, and the rest of my, I can't call them family, the rest of my relatives, well, they were busy doing their own thing. My core family was with my grandparents on my mother's side, my mother's parents, Priscilla, Randall, Edmund Lamar, and then, of course, my beloved but dearly departed mother, Deidre, who died under very unpleasant circumstances. I'll tell you about that later. They were my core family, and we were kind of ostracized by the rest of the Wampler clan in the Costa Mesa, Newport Beach area. It's not really fun, but, people are people. But at this point in time, I've come to another conclusion about myself and about this culture in this country. And listen up, folks. There's nothing good or bad about any culture. There is the good and the bad. The thing is, myself personally, I look for things in people that I associate with. I look for people who are intelligent, who are mature, and who are functional, who have overcome their past. I look for people who are very humble, pleasant, and polite, because I don't want to be around people who are arrogant and think so much of themselves that nobody wants to be around people like that, and they're not self-aware. I'm coming to understand in this culture, it is dysfunctional. The family arrangement in this country, in the United States, is broken down. I'm not really pleased or satisfied with how shallow and essentially unloving and heartless people are in this country. Unfortunately, I'm imperfect, you're imperfect, and I understand that, but it's this culture. And I'm thinking to myself, eventually when the aerospace business I'm running, and aerospace and automotive manufacturing business I'm running, well, automotive not now, but I'm into aerospace right now. I'm building scientific research and data rockets. They're called sounding rockets. And I'm also teaching 6 classes online on rocketry. When those get off the ground, I start making more money at them. Obviously, I'm going to buy my own place. The other thing is I'm going to buy my own, manufacturing facility, so I have it all to myself. But the other thing is I think I'm probably going to end up moving out of the country. I do want to find a wife and get married, with my same spiritual values. But, the thing is, no one in America, no woman in America, no. It's not that I have anything against, I'm not racist. I'm just not interested in dating and marrying an American woman. They don't think and act the way I like. I mean, I'm not God's gift to women, but honestly, so I'm looking to move either to Japan or China or even one of the possibly even one of the Muslim countries that is more westernized. But I'm not compatible with this culture in this country. I never liked it and I never will. So different cultures around the world, they have different value set, different standards for conduct between man and a woman who aren't married, social standards, social structure, societal structure. But mostly people in non-westernized countries are very, very humble, pleasant. They're down to earth. They're real people. They think straight. They're mature. They're functional. They communicate properly, and they're generally all around pleasant people to deal with. They're not in this pressure cooker society where they're just driven to madness. So I do believe some forms of this culture we live in, this society, American culture, it puts people in pressure cookers. And anxiety makes a wise man act crazy, or a wise woman act crazy. That coupled with their very dysfunctional past because they didn't have a proper family structure at home, it makes for a very, very, how do I say this politely, screwed up individual mentally. And it's not really their fault. One other assertion, I'm going to call it after this because we're at the 11-minute mark. Every woman and every man, they are a product of their background. They're a product of their environment. They're a product of their training, discipline, and education. Every man and woman, or every woman and man, has a story to tell. So, in an effort to understand and get along with people better, try to get their story out of them. Don't make the conversation about you and your needs and your thoughts and your opinions and your likes and dislikes. Try to put yourself aside, put your personal discomforts aside, and step out of your comfort zone and just start asking them. So, what is your engine? What drives you? What are your goals? What is your education? Make it about the other person and really try to get to know them. Then when you really get to know people on a deep level, you will find out, even in this culture, they are human beings. They have frailties, they have thoughts and feelings, they have tragedy to deal with in their life, and eventually they're going to get your sympathy vote as well. They already got mine, so I'm never going to ever argue with anybody for the rest of my life or be angry. I never want to look down and disrespect my fellow man because they have a story to tell. There's a reason why they are the way they are, and that applies to me too. But I'm a rather, not difficult, I'm a rather unusual and hard to understand person myself. Anyway, and that's not bragging. That's actually me confessing. Anyway, so this has been one more episode of Dime Store Psychology. My name is Jason Wampler. I own a company called Wampler. We're an aerospace manufacturer, engaged right now in designing and building sounding rockets. But that's not a plug for that. But check me out, Dime Store Psychology, Jason Wampler. My email is jasondavidwampler@yahoo.com. Or Red Hal Rocket Society at gmail.com. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Over and out.